What's going on out there, guys? It's your boy Tommy on the spot for Watch Along Wrestling. Thanks so much for checking out this video. In this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about the Drew McIntyre versus Dolph Ziggler match that took place tonight on WWE Extreme Rules, or is it the horror show at WWE Extreme Rules? The show just ended a couple hours ago, so I've had some time to digest this here. I have avoided all Twitter thoughts, and I wanted to cloud my judgment per se. But I will say this, going into the match, I was all about Dolph Ziggler winning the title. I just thought it would have been really cool. I think he's making the stipulation. Logic would say he'd be able to kind of come in here and kind of stack the odds against Drew McIntyre and maybe come out with a win. And actually what I thought was going to happen was that, Dolph would win the title and Otis would come in, cash in, and he'd win the title. Not what happened, though. Instead, for those who haven't seen it, Dolph Ziggler chose the stipulation of the match that it would be Extreme Rules, and the match would be contested under Extreme Rules, but only for Dolph Ziggler. So Dolph could pretty much do whatever he wanted in the match, but Drew had to basically follow the normal WWE rules. So what this amounted to was basically Dolph was able to use weapons, Dolph was able to do what he pleased, but if Drew had also gotten disqualified or counted out, he lost the title. So Dolph tried to stack the odds against Drew, but at the end of the day, he got frustrated, threw some chairs out of the ring, and got caught with the Claymore kick, and McIntyre ended up winning. Now, from a logic perspective, I didn't love this. I really thought at this point, if Dolph Ziggler is stacking the odds so much, where was Bobby Roode? Where were a whole bunch of folks to come out and help Dolph and at least extend this a week or two, give Dolph the title, take it off Drew, extend it a week or two? They didn't want to do it. Drew continues his reign as champion, but I will say this. Towards the end of the match, I was really impressed with Drew McIntyre. First off, great match. I thought, honestly, it was my favorite match of the night, and I really liked Asuka Sasha, which I'll talk about in another video. But I thought these guys just absolutely killed it. I thought it was a really, really good match, but you had to take logic and throw it out the window. If it was supposed to be Extreme Rules on the side of Dolph Ziggler, then it really should have been just a ton of people helping him out and him finding a way to get a win no matter what. Or the countless times that Drew McIntyre, and I know some folks on Twitter, at WatchAlongTommy, got at me and said, hey, this has never been a DQ, and you're right. But logic would say here, if Drew McIntyre is running around and bouncing Dolph off the barricades, bouncing Dolph off the announce desk, at the end of the day here, Drew McIntyre should have been disqualified, and that should have resulted in Dolph Ziggler getting the title. They didn't do that. That stuff, I guess, does not count as a disqualification. So instead, Drew was able to catch Dolph with an incredible Claymore kick. No one sells better than Dolph Ziggler, and he retains the title. And I will say, Drew McIntyre getting over as a badass babyface that you can get behind because he's great in the ring. He's a solid promo, and he's taken on all challengers, which is something that you really haven't always seen on Raw with Brock Lesnar having the title for so long. Has been quite refreshing. I kind of understand why they didn't take the title off him. Even though I was rooting for Dolph, at the end of the day, they're building Drew up. They clearly don't want to take the title off him right now. So who knows? Maybe if he were to have lost the title for a short amount of time to Dolph, it would have done more bad than good. Drew continues his title reign, and it'll be interesting to kind of see where they go from here. I personally think the next logical step for SummerSlam would be him and Randy Orton. These guys seem like they're on a bit of a collision course, with both of them kind of both going up the ranks here and having the best, in my opinion, the best runs of either's career. So that'll be interesting to see how it goes, but Drew does retain. Of course, no Otis, which again didn't make much sense to me. If Drew had been taken out and all the Extreme Rules that Dolph was able to use, beats him up with the chair, does all these different things to Drew. If I'm Mandy Rose, I'm taking a reluctant Otis out and I'm making him cash that sucker in, and for better or for worse, he goes ahead and wins the title there, or can cash it in at least. But nope, nowhere to be found. Interesting to see what they do with Otis. It doesn't feel like he has much direction, or maybe they're just holding off his cash-in until the fans return. Who knows? But in any event, I thought this was the best match of the evening. Drew gets the win here, ends up catching Dolph with a Claymore kick. Dolph Ziggler, man, he comes up short again, but he delivers every single time he's in there, specifically in big matches. So Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, if you're going to check out one match, check that match out. It was fantastic, and it was the one match of the three great ones, and I'll get to those in other videos, where I thought that the finish, at least, even though it wasn't the way I wanted it to go personally, at least it was a bit of a clean finish, and Drew McIntyre continues his reign. Thanks so much for checking out this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.